So, hello everyone, good afternoon. I can see a lot of explorers and dreamers in front of me, and it is my pleasure to see all of you together. Okay, hello everyone. Hi, good afternoon. I hope all of you had your lunch. Yes or no? No? Okay, so what time is it now? Is it 1 p.m.? Do you think it is really 1 p.m. right now? Do you think the time 1 p.m. is correct? Actually, it is not. Okay. So right now you're in Delhi, isn't it? So it's around 12:40 p.m. Oh, that means our clocks are actually showing wrong time. Yeah, they do. But then how do you find the correct time in your school, let's say? So we can use something called, do you know what is it? We can use ancient clock like this. Do you see that? I hope all of you recognize that, isn't it? No? How many of you recognize this? Give me thumbs up. Did you recognize this? Yeah, I see a lot of thumbs up right now. Okay. Okay, it's an ancient clock called sundial, isn't it? With that, you can find the true time. You can actually find the time in your school right now. And it could be around 12:40 p.m. I guess your lunch time is not yet there, isn't it? Yeah, we have still some time. Okay. So I know, all of you actually dream lot of things, isn't it? Aren't you all dreamers? Yes, you're all dreamers, isn't it? So you dream a lot of things, going to Disneyland, going to vacation, enjoying holidays, and coming to school can be a dream. Yeah. Do you dream going to school and enjoying? How many of you do that? Give a thumbs up. Yes. Okay. So imagine you dream, in your dream, you're coming to the school, and on that day, you are going to actually drive your own rover like the Pragyan rover on the moon. Yes, would you like to do that? Imagine, you're imagining that you're coming to school and launching your own rocket to space. Yeah, is that possibility? Can we do that? May not be space, but you can launch the rocket up to few floors. Are you ready for that? Yeah. Okay. So imagine that you're coming to the school and actually you're making your own lander. Something like this. Do you see that? Yeah. Does it look cool? Yes. So this is Chandrayaan 3 like lander. Okay. Imagine that you're coming to the school and making that and also using that. Right? So all this is possible. Okay, your imagination can come true and you can actually explore a lot when you come to the school. For that, what we need? What we need? We need a special curriculum, a special class, isn't it? And that is going to be the space class, right? The space club. Would you like to join the space club? Yeah? And become space explorers? Yes. Give me thumbs up if you want to do that. Okay. So you might drive your rover, you can actually operate your lander, you can make your own sun clock, you can make your own solar system, and you can even code to drive a rover in a software. Yes, you can do all those things. Okay. So I am very much excited to introduce this space club to your school. Myself, Praveen Suryavanshi, I have 10 plus years of experience in teaching astronomy and developing curriculum. Okay, so previously I have worked with National Geographic Channel and other institutions, helping them to reach out to the students and make students' dream come true. Would you like to make your dreams come true? Yes? Yes or no? So like you have seen the IT boom, right? A lot of your parents might be working in IT industry. Yes or no? Yeah. Okay. So similarly, imagine that all of you are going to work for space. Yeah. So there are going to be thousands of jobs which are going to come in the sector of space. Yeah, I'm not joking. Okay. So, because India actually opened up the space for everyone, even you can launch a rocket, even students can make a satellite, like you see at my back, right? Okay. So, while doing all of these things, what is the use? What is the use of doing all those things? Yeah, you may become space explorers and everything, but it is also going to help you understanding the fundamentals of your subject. Some of you might be struggling with mathematics. Yeah, can be. Yes, how many of you struggle with mathematics? Is it your favorite subject or is it boring for you? No. Okay, I see that some of them are actually saying no sir, we don't really enjoy that. Okay, so some of you might be struggling with maths, some of you might be struggling with physics, yes, chemistry, social sciences. But you know what if I make you fall in love with all these subjects? What you have to do is you have to fall in love with these subjects, right? How do you fall in love with these subjects? So imagine that you are making a telescope. While making a telescope, what you need? You need the lenses, isn't it? Imagine that you want to make a binoculars like this. Yeah, I'm not joking. You can actually make a binoculars like this and observe the craters on the moon. So to make a binocular or telescope, what you need? You might be needing some lenses, isn't it? Okay, mirrors, right? So when you're using the lenses and mirrors, what do? You put them in a sequence. You put you choose particular lens or a mirror, isn't it? You install in a tube, and you might be need couple of more lenses, and tada, that could become a telescope. But there is a science behind it, right? There is a physics behind that. There is a mathematics behind that. If you don't know the mathematics, if you don't know the physics, basic physics for telescope, can you make a telescope? Is it possible to make a telescope without knowing the mathematics and physics? No, isn't it? It's very, very important to understand the basic physics and basic mathematics so that you can make your own telescope and enjoy. Yes or no? Right? We are actually feeling proud of ISRO, right? India launching rocket into space, landing on the moon, and even roving on the moon, isn't it? We are so much proud, isn't it? So, without the space science, without the rocket science, is that possible? Yes or no? Is it possible? No, obviously. So 20 years down the line, 30 years back, the scientists who actually sent rockets to the space, the scientists who actually landed rover on the moon were students like you, right? They were students like you 25 years back or 30 years back, isn't it? So now they are able to do this cool stuff because they were able to crack the complexities of the rockets, isn't it? The science behind the rockets. They were able to crack the electronics required for that. They were able to crack the software required for that. Yes or no? So without that, is it possible? Obviously, no. So if you are also able to crack the fundamentals of physics, mathematics, and chemistry, other stuff, you can also do such cool stuff. Yes or no? Correct? Now, do you think is there any reason to not to love space science? Do you think there is a reason not to love mathematics and physics? No, isn't it? So everything is around us, right? So there is a math around us, there is physics around us, there is chemistry around us, there is biology around us, isn't it? There is a social sciences around us. All we have to do is realize how we can use it for a very, very, very useful purpose and also enjoy while doing all these cool stuff. Correct? Now I'm going to share my screen, show some of the models while they work. Are you ready for this? Yes? Would you like to see some of them while working? Okay, so let's do that. So first of all, I'm going to show a very, very interesting model. And when you see that, you should be able to understand what is that. What do you see here? It looks like a big sun, right? There is a sun, there is earth, and there are more. Okay, now I am going to switch it on. Okay, and operate. Do you see that it is moving? Yeah. Okay, so here is the model of the sun, moon, and earth, right? And how they actually move in space. You know what? Such kind of model also you can make. And in Space Lab, you are going to get this model. And you can actually operate it and understand how this happens. So while using this, you can actually simulate how seasons occur on the Earth, how the moon actually goes through the phases, and how the eclipse occurs. You have seen the eclipse, right? Recently, couple of weeks ago, there was an eclipse, isn't it, in America? We didn't get the chance, isn't it, to look at it, but in future we'll get the eclipse in India too. But do you know how the actually how eclipse happens? What is the dynamics going on in space? All those stuff you can actually understand using this model, and you can operate, and you can also modify this. You can make even more smarter model out of this, right? Okay, are you excited to use this? Are you excited? Okay, that's great. So I'm going to show one more thing. What do you see here? A lander, isn't it? Yes or no? So this is not a dummy model. This is actually a working model. Yeah, it is a working model. How does it work? Okay, let's switch it on. I'm going to plug in. Wow, so you can see the light there, isn't it? You see that? What is it actually showing? What is it actually showing? It's showing the temperature, isn't it? Yeah, it is showing the temperature in the room. Now I can switch to other things. I'm switching actually to other parameters, and here you see the pressure. Do you see the pressure reading on it? Yes. Do you see? Yeah, we can see the pressure. What else we can see? We can see the distance. Wow, when a lander actually lands on a moon or a planet, it has it has to calculate the distance, right, from the surface. So if I lift it upwards, the distance actually changes. You see that? Distance is actually changing. Now it is around 29 centimeters. So when it lands, it comes down to 13 centimeters. That means it has landed successfully. How do scientists actually know that a lander is actually landed successfully? Because they are getting all those readings from the lander from the moon, isn't it? So once they understand, okay, so this is specific distance from the ground, that means successfully touched down. Do we have a camera on the moon to look at the landing of the lander?
8 seconds.
So this is how the technology on the lander is going to work. And inside this model, you also see, what do you see? You also see a rover. Doesn't it look cool? Yeah, it's very, very cool, isn't it? You can also operate this and understand how the rover is actually made. The senior students are actually going to make such kind of rover by yourself, especially the senior students, okay, who are in 6th, 7th, 8th grades. You can actually make this kind of rovers and landers by yourself, right? Okay, so what else we have? Let me share my screen and show something very, very cool. So here, do you see the screen? Give me thumbs up. Yeah. Okay, so here you have a very, very special model that can detect alien planets. Yeah, do you know how scientists actually detect alien planets? So there is a method, very cool method called transit method. What happens in this is when a planet actually passes in front of a star, the light from the star actually dims, isn't it? And scientists have instruments to detect that and understand how big is this planet, and even they can predict whether there is a life on this planet. Well, that's very interesting, isn't it? And similar to that, we are also going to simulate the detection of exoplanets using this method. Do you see? There is a model of star system here. Whenever there is a planet passing in front of a star, there is a signal which is being transmitted, isn't it? So this signal tells whether there is a planet or not. How many planets are there? Okay, so how big is that? Is it as big as the Earth, or is it larger than the Earth. So all those things you can actually find out using this. Are you excited for this kind of models? Yeah. Are you excited? Yes or no? Give me thumbs up if you're excited. Okay, I can see a lot of excitement there. So apart from this, we also have some rocket launching system. Let me share that too. So here I am going to show a model, okay, of the rocket. Do you see, like the rocket scientists do, we are also going to do similar to that. Okay, we are going to transfer the rocket, we are going to lift the rocket, we are going to use the pulleys, and we are going to use the hydraulic arms and then hold it, and finally ready for the launch. Let's count down. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off. So while using this model, you understand various things like what is Newton's laws, right? So how the launching mechanism works, what kind of fuel is used in the rocket. Okay, so why the rocket is actually shaped the way it is, you'll understand all these things. Okay, junior students understand the parts of the rocket, right? The senior students can also understand what is inside the rocket, how the rocket launch mechanism works, what kind of fuel is used, what kind of aerodynamic shape we are talking about. Talking about rockets, you know, the senior students actually can build their rocket and see what is actually inside the rocket. So do you see this? Very interesting thing, right? So what are these things inside? Have you ever get a chance to actually look at inside of a rocket? Have you ever touched a rocket, real rocket? No, isn't it? Obviously no, isn't it? So how do we know what is inside a rocket? So this is the model which shows what is actually inside a rocket, what kind of fuel is used, where they are actually placed. So what is actually rocket carrying? If it is carrying, where it is actually installed? Here, right? There is a payload, there is a satellite actually sits on top of the rocket. Yes or no? So you will see the entire structure of the rocket, and you can actually separate them part by part, and you can even assemble them in a sequence, right? So while doing that, you understand how rocket is actually built component by component, and you will feel like you are a rocket scientist. Yes or no? Yeah. Some of you want to become rock star, isn't it? Would you like to become rocket star? Yes. Rock star or rocket star? Or both? Yeah, when you become rocket scientist, right, you can also become rock star because you also become famous, right? A lot of people recognize you, isn't it? So all these cool stuff you can do and learn various things which are very, very important, right? You might be, some of you might be struggling with maths, physics, chemistry. All that will be very, very easy when you are actually working on them, and you will start falling in love with these subjects we are actually struggling. Yes or no? Yes. Okay. So one more exciting stuff is that the senior students actually can make their own satellite. How cool is that? So here I'm going to show something. So here is the satellite. Do you think is it a dummy model or is it a working model? Dummy or working? Dummy? How many of you think it is dummy, or how many of you think it is working model? Okay, I see a lot of thumbs ups. Yeah, actually it is working model. You can see a lot of electronics inside. How about making your own satellite? And this satellite is actually inspired from weather satellites from ISRO. Okay, what is weather satellite? What it does? So if you build the satellite at your school, it is going to find out the temperature in your school, the humidity in your school, and also it is going to find out how much pressure is there in your school, atmospheric pressure, and also it finds the light intensity. What is the use of this? By finding all those things, you can actually predict something. What you can actually predict? You can actually predict whether it is going to be raining tomorrow or not. How cool is that? Imagine a student, like you, predicting whether it will rain in the school tomorrow or not by using these parameters. So literally, you will have a weather satellite roaming in your school. Would you like to make one? Yes. Would you like to become like a weatherman, weatherwoman, studying the weather and telling your principal or director, ma'am, okay, so ma'am, sir, tomorrow you can actually shut down the school because it is going to rain. Okay, so yes, would you like to do that? Would you like to predict weather in your school? Yes. Okay, that's very, very interesting. So you can do all this stuff, right? When you become part of the space club and enjoy it and learn various things. So along with this, you'll also get very interesting books to read and understand the complexities of space, science, and other things. So in this book, everything is actually boiled on so that you can understand very, very easily. So how about some cool activities at home? At home, you can actually do certain cool activities. All of you like playing games, isn't it? Yes or no? All of you like playing games, using smartphones, using computers. How about using them for actually bringing the concepts live? Yeah, I mean, literally, you can bring concepts live. You can actually virtually go into space and experience space and drive a rover, operate a telescope by NASA. Yeah, you can sit at home and operate a telescope which is owned by NASA. How cool is that? So all you need to do is actually scan this QR code which is given in the textbook. You can scan this QR code here. In this, you can actually simulate the landing on the Mars. You can also simulate a rocket launch. You can simulate the orbits of the planet. Yes, you can also simulate building a satellite, building a rover, building a rocket, and also you can launch it before making a real rocket. You can actually simulate in the software. And also, you'll get a lot of robotic skills while doing these things, isn't it? All of this is robotics, isn't it? Yes or no? There is a space science involved, there is a physics involved, there is electronics involved, there is robotics involved. Correct? There is also, in some of the kits, there is also programming, coding involved. Imagine that you are programming to drive a rover on Mars and picking the rocks, right? So all these things you can do. Imagine you are designing your own rover in 3D. You can also do 3D design, and also you can do 3D printing. Yeah, so you can do all the stuff, right? Okay, isn't that interesting? Yes. Yes or no? Okay, that's great. So I'm going to summarize, what is going to be there when you actually participate in the space club activities, right? So you're going to have overall throughout the year, okay, 24 modules. In these modules, you will learn theoretical concepts as well as practical experiential learning, right? So for example, juniors, especially when you talk about juniors, so you learn about um, moons of the giants. That means the moons of Jupiter, Saturn, and all those stuff, right? And you will also learn how to land on these moons. So you'll make a parachute and simulate landing on the moon, simulate landing on the Mars. How cool is that? So there is a little astronaut that will give, okay, your task is actually to land him safely without breaking his arms. Are you ready for the challenge? Right? You can also put an egg inside and make sure that the egg is not breaking when it lands. Yes, isn't it challenging? Yeah, it is challenging, right? So you can build your own parachute to land a probe safely. You know what? You can also send a message to aliens. Yeah, it is possible. Okay. So you'll also learn in this chapter how scientists actually send messages to aliens. Did we receive any response so far? How do we send messages to the other planets? Yeah, there is a way to do that. Okay, so you learn that how to do that, and what kind of signals are being sent. Are they coded? Are they audio signals? Are they video signals? How to send them? Will actually aliens understand our language? Okay, so like I was saying, you will have different modules, right? To build a satellite, to observe through telescope, okay, and make your own solar oven, right? So let's say you go to space. If you want to cook, let's say if you want to survive on Mars and set up a base, how do you cook there? Can we carry gas cylinders from here? Is it possible to carry gas cylinders from here? No, obviously, isn't it? So you have to use freely available energy on Mars. What is that? Yes, it is going to be the solar energy. Using that, you will learn how to cook food on Mars, right? Using this particular kit. Okay, and like I said, you will also make your own satellite using the electronics that we give. So while doing this, you learn the basics of electronics. What is a breadboard? What are the sensors? What kind of connections we have to give to make the sensor work? How to get the data? How to research about that? Even finally, finding whether it is going to be raining tomorrow or not. Okay, so all the stuff you are going to do, and you will also get a telescope when there is an observation event. So imagine that you are observing the Saturn's rings. You're observing the great red spot on Jupiter, which is a giant storm on Jupiter. Imagine that observing craters on the moon, right? So all and galaxies in deep space, all this is possible using a very good large telescope, isn't it? So you can also make your own lander, like I said. You can make your own rover, which will actually drive itself. Do we actually control the rover from Earth, or will it actually drive itself on the moon or Mars? Yes, some of the things we control, but most of the things we don't control. It does automatically, right? So you will also understand how to make autonomous rover which detects the obstacles by itself and takes a turn smartly and avoids the stones on the moon or Mars. You can build one, right? So like I said, you can also learn how this mechanism of Earth Moon system works, and you can also operate this and understand the eclipses, the phases of the moon, as well as the seasons. You can make your own telescope, like I said. This is a small model of a telescope you can make and observe the moon with that. Okay, so all this is possible, right? Yes or no? Correct. And you might be participating in some science fairs, isn't it? Would you like to participate in science fairs and competitions within Delhi, India, abroad, right? You can also do these things. You can also participate in science fairs, science events confidently using these models and kits that you have, and showcase your talent, what you can do, isn't it? You'll also participate in some of the international competitions in which you can actually detect the exoplanets. You can detect asteroids. Yes, you can actually detect asteroids which were not identified earlier. You can discover them, new asteroids, you can discover them, right? So all this is possible. And also finally, at the end of the year, at the end of the year of space club curriculum, you will have your own projects. You can choose any of the projects that you like, and you can showcase to your teachers, you can showcase to your parents, you can showcase to even scientists who are going to visit to your school. So imagine that you're talking to a scientist or a famous person, and who is listening to you, and you may end up getting a job in the future. How cool is that, isn't it? Yeah. So all this is doable for students like you if you really fall in love with these subjects. And we are here, your school is here to make you fall in love with these things and become explorers, inventors, discoverers, and become very good citizens too at the same time, right? Creating jobs, right? Getting top jobs. All this is possible, and also making our country pride in the education domain as well as the science domain. Yes, I hope your school is ready and all our budding students, all our explorer students, all our dreamer students are ready for this. Yes? Are you ready for this? Give me a big thumbs up. Are you ready? So all of you can shout together, we are ready to explore. Are you ready to explore? Yes? Teachers can unmute all the microphones. And you can, all the students can actually say this. Are you ready to explore?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you ready to explore?
Yes,
Okay. All the very best. All the best. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Superb. I like the excitement. I like the energy from you. All the best. We'll see you soon.